Hey everybody, we're back in the shop working on this rear end. Still working on the tear down. We had a little bit of snow this weekend I had to take care of. Had a little bit of cleanup, some snow and ice, but we're back today. And right now we're going after the pinion there. Well, we're going to get the yoke off first. And we've got our puller set up that we used last time on the transfer case. And we're going to use it again here to get that yoke off there. So we'll go after the nut first. Kind of tight. We broke our first bolt there. But let me get rigged up again and see what's going on. That nut is really on there tight. So let me get a new bolt in there and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back with you. That nut is on there pretty tight, so can't get it with the 1/2-inch gun, so I got the 1-inch gun out and I adapted it way down to our socket. And let's see if we can bounce that thing off there. Okay, let's give it a shot with this gun. There we go. That got it. Okay. Usually you're not on that tight. That one was pretty corroded down there, so I think that might be the trouble. And okay, we'll get that nut out of there, then we'll set the puller up and get some stuff out of my way. Okay, and there's our pressure screw. We'll loosen that up. Okay, we get some pressure on that now. And we get a wrench. Okay, let's see if we can get this yoke pulled off here. Forgot to put a nut on that one. Alright, let me go find a nut and I'll be right back with you. Okay, I think I'm set up now. You could tell it's a Monday. We're getting to bolt things down, I guess, but it happens sometimes. Okay, let's try and get this broken free. Boy, that's coming up tough. That's why it's nice to have that puller, because you'd spend forever banging that thing off there and start mangling it up that way, so it's good to have a puller to get this off. We'll get a little way and then we'll take that washer out once that breaks free, and then we'll pull it the rest of the way. Boy, that's coming hard. Wow. Okay, let's get that washer out of there. I think we can get, I'm going to get a pick and see if I can dig that washer out. That might be holding us up a little bit. Be right back with you. Okay, I got the washer out of there. I'm hoping that was holding it up a little bit. There's the washer. We dug that out with a pick. Let's see if this will come any easier. You could use the impact gun on this, but I like to feel how it's coming off, see if it's hanging up on anything with the wrench, you know. I don't like to just zip it off with the impact gun. It's coming. Just takes a little bit. Oh, it's being tough. We'll get it. Got it on the run now. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, that was tougher than normal, but we got it. There it is. Looks good. No groove in the seal area there, so we're in good shape. We'll go after that pinion seal next. Let me clean up a little bit and put some things away. Okay, now we got that seal in there. We're going to pull that next. If you watch that transfer case video, you saw me use this tool here. And that kind of bites right into the seal. Trying to get that screwed in tight. Okay, and we'll put our pressure screw in there, and that should draw it right out. Okay, we'll hold on to that. See if we can't draw it out. Okay, got it. It's the easiest way to remove those seals. And inside there, you'll have a little paper seal. And you want to make sure you put that in there. That's going to help you with leaks. Paper seal goes in, and you tap your pinion seal in there. Alright. Okay, we'll flip it over, and we're going to pull the carrier out in the ring gear next. So let me get set up for that and be right back with you. Okay, next we're going to take off the caps here. I'll try and get you in here. And it's hard to see, but these are marked from the factories. There's a little mark right there, and there's probably going to be a mark there once we get the gasket off. And another one here, and there'll be another mark there. These caps have to go back on the same way they came off. When this housing was machined, those caps were put on. They were torqued down, and then it was line bored through there. So those caps can't be turned around. You don't want to switch them from side to side. So what you do is either go with the factory marks. I don't like to do that. I like to put my own marks in here. So we're going to center punch this, and we're going to keep the caps in order so we know which way they go back in. And that's critical. If you don't do that, you're going to have some rear end or front end trouble. So let me grab a center punch and a hammer, and we'll come back and do that. Okay, I like to just put one prick punch on one side and two on the other. So there's a dot there. I'll put a dot here. And we'll put it down low below the center line so we know, we can't spin that around or anything. And then on this one, we're going to put two. One there. One there. Okay. Now, if anybody ever goes in there, they'll see those dots and they'll know somebody's been in here. And that's kind of helpful. I like to know if somebody's been in there before I get in there, especially if there's a question of pinion depth setting and stuff like that. If you have something wrong with the rear end, it's nice to know if somebody else has been in there, so you know if you're dealing with factory setup, shim sets and stuff like that. So by marking it like that, somebody will know that we've been in there and it's been rebuilt, and it's fine in there. So we'll take those caps off next, and then we'll pull out that whole carrier with the ring gear on it. Okay, coming right back with you. Okay, so now we got that cap, and I think you can see we got a little prick punch in there right there. Now, no matter which way we turn this, doesn't matter how if we get it mixed up or something, we know our prick punch is down there and it has to go in that position. So it's helpful to know to mark how they come off. Okay, so we'll go put these on the bench, and then we're going to pull that right out of there. Okay, now normally I just get in here with a couple bars, pop that out of there. That's how I like to do it. This is a housing spreader, and I'll try and show this to you. These little adjustable bolts go in these holes right here, one on each side. It's kind of heavy to use, but they go in there, and then you've got a screw here that you turn. That would spread that housing, and will take the pressure, because these bearings are preloaded. Take the pressure off that, you pull that right out with your hands. If you go too much with this spreader, though, you can put a permanent set in the axle and ruin the housing and distort it. I don't generally like to use them. Like I say, a couple bars will pop that right out of there. But if you get a real pinch, that's what a real housing spreader looks like. And you could buy them at anybody that sells rear end gears, stuff like that. But like I say, I don't really use it. And if you do, you got to mount a dial indicator on there. You don't want to go any more. You don't want to spread your housing any more than 10 thousandths of an inch. Otherwise, it'll take a permanent set. So be careful if you use a housing spreader. Okay, we'll get some bars and we'll pop that out of there. Okay, what you're seeing is a couple bars right there. And we'll just pop that right out of there. Sometimes they can be tough. Sometimes they come right out. And you can get your bars in the bearing cups there. Okay, that about got it. I'll get this side up a little bit. Okay, I think we can pick that out now. Still a little tough. Okay, we got it there. Okay, we'll take this over to the bench and we'll inspect those bearings. Get that cup out of there. Okay, I'll meet you back over at the bench. Okay, here's a bearing cup. Wipe it out. And you could see, I think, it's kind of etched in there, and it's catching, you can catch quite a bit of these marks here with your fingernail. So, bearings are a little wiped out. Seems to be the case with this whole rear end. It's just a little worn out. You know, you gotta expect, being as old as it is, that time for bearings. Yeah, same with this one. It's got marks you can catch with your fingernail all around there. So we'll change the bearings out, and we'll get a puller in there. I'll show you how we do that when we do it, and we'll go after the pinion now and see what those bearings look like, and we'll come back and we'll deal with changing these bearings later. Okay, we just tapped the pinion through. This bearing is the only thing that really holds it in there at this point, and you want to be sure you get your shims off here. These shims and this one here, that sets the rotational torque of the pinion. So we'll put a torque wrench on there that reads in inch-pounds, and we'll check the rotational torque when we're turning the whole yoke. These shims are what set that preload on this bearing. And again, like the rest of the stuff, the rollers are real rough. We're gonna have to change everything out. We'll get a whole rebuild kit, bearing and shim kit for this rear end, and put everything new in it. Pinion gear itself doesn't look terrible, but we'll press that bearing off, and we'll knock the cups out of the housing, and we'll change all the bearings. So let's finish knocking the cups out of there, and we'll get that ready for sandblasting. Okay, I just knocked out the pinion bearing, and your shims go in and your bearing goes on top of it like that. So this is your main shim pack, and there's going to be two little notches in the housing. Obviously you can see here and here where you can bang that bearing out. And we'll save these shims, we'll measure them, and we'll put that exact shim pack in there to start with. This sets your whole pinion depth, and there's a lot of tools and there's a lot of ways to set your pinion depth, but if you know you have an original housing and you pull your original shims out of there, no reason why you can't get right on the money with putting that original shim pack in there. And again, we'll change this bearing out because it's worn in there. I think you can see the shadows of it, and it really catches on you. So now we got to knock the outer one out, and then that housing is stripped, and we'll get it plugged up and ready for sandblasting. I've got some caps that go on the ends. We'll stuff some rags in there, we'll put the cover on, and we'll take it outside with the rest of the stuff. And maybe we'll get going on the front end this morning too. Okay, here's our final bearing cup. And I think you can see how deep that one is in there. Right in there is a real deep score. So the whole thing is going to get new bearings, and I'll take you over here now and show you a completely stripped housing. And nothing in there. We'll get all this sludge cleaned out of here. We'll give that a good bath and solvent and get it cleaned. There's a grease fitting for the rear bearing, rear axle bearing, and there's a vent hole up here that you can't even see. And we'll get all that cleaned up, and I'll show you that as it happens. Okay, that's one stripped rear end housing.